everybody. Welcome to Build. I am your host, Ricky Camilleri. Phoebe Waller-Bridge made her name with the now classic comedy Fleabag. She's back with Killing Eve, a sexy, clever, action-filled assassin comedy on the BBC, starring our guest, Jodie Comer. Let's take a quick look at the trailer.
I think about you all the time. I think about what you're doing and who you're doing it with. I think about what you eat before you work or what shampoo you use. I think about what you feel when you kill someone. I just want to know everything.
Bye-bye.
4 people are dead and it's all your fault.
Somebody help me!
She will keep hurting people until I catch her. I have to find her. She wants me to find her.
You're not saving the world, honey bunch.
I'm gonna talk to her.
No!
You're getting off and sniffing out a psycho.
'Cause I got issues, but you're there too. To give them my life and I'll give mine to you. Yeah, I got issues,
Tell me what you want.
and one of them is how bad I need you.
Please.
Everybody, please welcome Jodie Comer. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Jodie, congratulations on Killing Eve. It's a great show.
Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed filming it.
Have you watched some of it? Have you seen
I've watched the first 2 episodes. I don't really enjoy
watching yourself?
watching what I'm doing.
Are you still able to kind of recognize though that it's something different and like all of the parts came together and
Yeah,
it worked?
absolutely. And it's always lovely because, you know, when you're filming, you're so wrapped up in the scenes that you're doing that you get to see the work that everyone else has put in. So, and you know, the music and the editing, and so yeah, I am really excited. I think it's a very unique piece.
Yeah, it's incredibly unique. It has a kind of a Grosse Pointe Blank influence. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's about a hitman in the 90s played by John Cusack who's having kind of like existential issues.
She has issues, for sure.
Yeah, but what I really liked about her and about your performance is that you never try to sentimentalize her too much. She is pretty vacant at times.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, she has no remorse.
Yeah.
And, she at times is her own worst enemy as well. But she lives this life. You know, she's on her own, which she loves. She lives in her apartment in Paris, and that's how she likes it. She likes to be on her own and do her job. You know, that's how she sees killing people is a job, and she's good at it. And she definitely gets a sense of purpose from the work that she does.
I would also say at times a sense of power too, which is something that I don't want to say enjoyed, but I thought it was smart of the show and of your performance to not have her shy away during the murders, but to actually show a person who does like doing this.
Yeah, she gets so much from the kills, and that was a really important factor, actually, that with each kill, we wanted to see what she was actually gaining from this, or, you know, whether it be her eyes, you know, what is she feeling when she's doing these kills.
There's a great shot of your eyes during the perfume kill. It's just like a wonderful, like a very tight close-up of these sort of shivering, you know, eyes that are happening there. And you're not sure if she's kind of like getting off on this in the moment there, or if there's some kind of fear happening.
Yeah, and I think that's what's exciting is, you know, it's up to the audience to take, you know, what they want from that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what was it like when you got the first script for this? It's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I mentioned before, who's coming from great success with Fleabag.
Yes.
She's kind of one of the great writers right now.
Yeah, well, I love Fleabag, so when I got the script through, I was just like, before I'd even read it, I was like, I want to do it. I want to work with her. Yeah. But I honestly have never, ever read a script like this. For me, especially, you know, I read Female Assassin, and I was like, oh, God, I'm so uncoordinated, and I would never see myself playing a role like this, but she goes against all stereotypes, and I felt there was a lot of humanity in Villanelle. You know, I feel like when I watch assassin movies or TV programs, they're like superhuman, you know? They're like some sort of mythical creature that you can't really relate to, whereas I found a lot of humanity in her and humor, and you know, obviously she does things that I would never ever dream of doing, but then, like, so where she flicks the ice cream on the girl, I was like, you know, we've all been in situations where we may have thought to do something but never acted upon it. You know, she has no, she's got no moral compass. But there was so much fun in her, and I thought, it was unique, and I've never seen it, and yeah, I just love the script.
Does she have no moral compass, do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in regards to her kills, but I essentially, I do think
Does she have a code, though, of some kind that she sort of lives by? Or is there really just kind of
I think
self-preservation
yeah,
and that's it?
like the only person who is important to her is herself, for sure. But I do, even in, I think it's the first episode or the second episode, she says, like, I want someone to watch movies with. Yeah. So I think, she doesn't help herself. Like, I think deep down she probably does want that normality. But because of the way she is, she can't allow herself of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think deep down there is something there. Yeah.
Well, we hope that.
I hope, yeah.
We hope
yeah,
that with
yeah.
all people, even the worst of us, deep down, there is something there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you have to audition for the role, or was it something?
I did, yeah.
What was that like?
It was great. I had my initial audition in London, which was lovely. And then I was actually on holiday in Barcelona with a friend, and I got a call to say that I had to fly to LA to do my recall with
LA,
Sandra.
wow.
Yeah, with Sandra. Which was great. I mean, I don't know, but for a lot of you, if you go to an audition, you have to, if you need props or whatever, you have to imagine that they're there. And we had to do like this 8-page scene, and it was just the two of us. And I got to the audition, and it was Sandra's idea to have all the props there. So there was just a great physicality, and we could really play with the scene. And I had to eat in the scene, so they'd got this like blueberry pie. So like by the time I'd left the audition, I'd gone halfway through it. They literally had to roll me out.
You weren't spitting it out?
Oh no. Well, she just devours life, Villanelle, and I mean, I've never played the part where the person eats so much. But yeah, she loves life, and I think she loves her food, and it was. But yeah, I felt a little bit sick when I left that audition, but it was lovely because
you're our girl.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the one thing I have in common with her. But no, Sandra was like so generous, and I came out the audition and I was like, if I don't get it, I'll be devastated. But I felt like I'd done like a day's filming. I felt like we really kind of got something. Which yeah, and then I got like the call like a week after, and I was like, oh my God, now I'm gonna actually have to do it.
And did you have to do any kind of training or anything? I mean, there isn't that much that, from what I've seen, that you're not like fist fighting too much or anything.
No, we did a little bit of training at the start because I don't think we were aware of how much physicality would be involved. But yeah, a lot of her kills, she lures people in. And she gets very close to them, so a lot of the kills aren't too dramatic, but yeah, there was a bit of training, which was something that I'd never done before, so that was quite exciting as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw the first 2 episodes that I've seen; those are both written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Did she write the whole series?
Yes, and then there was like co-writers who came in, but yeah, every episode has her touch. Which is, yeah, she's incredible.
On set with you guys too, like working, or is that?
Yeah, she was more so at the beginning of the series.
Right, once the tone is kind of established.
Yeah, and plus you get your episodes as you go along. So she was in a room, writing away somewhere. But it was lovely because Phoebe's got this amazing quality of finding light in really dark moments, and a lot of it was about going against, as an actress, kind of going against your instinct. Which seems crazy, but you would play a scene where you think, oh, this is quite an intense, serious moment, and then Phoebe would run in and she'd go, play it happy. She's really happy about this, and would explain why, and then so halfway through filming, I felt like I'd worked those muscles, and it came a bit more naturally. But yeah, the one thing I learned off Phoebe was like, don't be scared to try something and it not work. Like have freedom in that, and especially with Villanelle because she's not self-conscious at all. So in order for her not to be, I had to kind of let my barrier down. Yeah. So once I did that, it was so liberating. And the more you kind of run with a character like her, the funner it is.
That's so, that makes so much sense what you just said about having to kind of run in early on and say, play this happy or play this. Because when I was just watching it, there are great jokes in it, and Phoebe writes great jokes, but she also does have a particular way of writing, I felt like, certain scenes that would normally be played one way, and if they were played that way, they wouldn't even read.
Yeah,
You know, they wouldn't
yeah.
land. You wouldn't know what the information was. But
Yeah.
played with just a pause here or just a break here or a certain tone,
Yeah.
they have a completely different dimension.
Or
to
even like a
them.
facial expression.
Yeah.
You know, it could be something as simple as that, but I think that's what, you know, sets the show off from others, is that it has this quirk. And you know, yeah, like it's not always laugh out loud, but then you could be so intense in a moment and then something will just throw you, or you'll think it's going one way and then, you know, it totally does a U-turn. So it's quite unpredictable, which I really like about it.
When you get cast in a role like this, which is essentially a sociopath, do you kind of wonder?
Yeah, well, like my biggest...
what is it about me?
Yeah, yeah. Why do I play these characters? Well, my biggest issue, well, not issue, but my biggest kind of hurdle was like, how can someone do this and have no remorse? But it's so bad because I'm so defensive of her because I had so much fun playing her. So I always find myself making excuses up for her. But
I always wonder if that's something that actors have to find, you know, and if
Yeah,
that
I think
confuses
so.
the process, or sometimes an actor can just kind of be like, she has no moral compass, I'll just play it this way. I don't have to find out why she has no moral compass or
Yeah.
really worry about it. That's how I'll play
yeah,
it.
no. Well, before we started filming, I sat down with Phoebe a lot, and we like made. Well, they already had like a huge kind of backstory of you know, her childhood and where she'd been, and I had my ideas, so we got to sit down and kind of create this timeline, which was amazing because you don't really know an awful lot about her. You know, she is a big mystery, but it was important for us to kind of go, right, how has she got here? Who is she? You know, so it was really lovely to have that time before we'd even, you know, got to filming it.
Is that backstory gonna sort of slowly come out throughout the?
Maybe.
Okay.
You definitely see more of why she is the way she is, and yeah, you get to learn a little bit more about her.
I love the juxtaposition with Sandra's character because she is a person with attachments who does care about everybody, who is like a pretty warm person. But it seems like in order to chase your character, while your character may be slowly trying to find attachments, she's sort of letting them go have to chase you.
Yeah, and I think it's something that Villanelle later on becomes aware of. I think the thing with Villanelle is she's so fascinated. Well, first off, she hears that there's an MI5 agent like looking out for her, so her ego is like already, you know, sky high. But then also she sees it's this woman and who lives this really mundane kind of average life, and she's kind of fascinated by her. And I feel like each of them has a quality that the other one is seeking out, and maybe they don't realize it earlier on, but the way their relationship progresses is really interesting.
How old were you when you started acting?
I was about 13, 14.
How'd it happen?
How'd it happen? I got left out of a talent show. Yeah, I learned very early on about rejection.
What was your talent?
Well, it was a school talent show, and we were doing a dance from Chicago. So you can imagine, very big deal when you're 14. And yeah, I'd gone on holiday with my parents, and I was on MSN. And they were like, look, you can't be in the dance because you've not been here to practice. So I was absolutely devastated. And in Liverpool, we had this thing called the Liverpool Drama Festival, where each person who entered would perform a monologue. And my mum was like, well, you know, go and ask your drama teacher if you can do your monologue. So I was like, okay. I did. And then she kind of spotted me. And from that, she sent me for a BBC radio play, which was my first ever professional acting job.
Which is so cool that you guys still do those.
Yeah. I
An
love
American radio
plays.
play.
Oh, I've literally just finished one, actually. They're so much fun. So yeah, it was from doing the radio play that the other like professional actors were like, you know, if you like enjoy this so much, you can give it a go at like doing it all the time. And a lady kindly introduced me to an agent, and it's just kind of snowballed from there. But I'm sure my friends, every time they hear me tell this story, they're like, well, you just get over it. You just let it go. But yeah, that's how
You're like, what, my career?
yeah,
What?
no,
What do you
like
mean let it go?
the grudge go of being left out. But I think it's very funny, you know, like how things turn out. Because my mum was always like, if they didn't leave you out, what would you be doing? And
Well,
I'm
I've
like,
always
I don't want to
said-
think about that.
I've always said there's no greater motivator than spite.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. Definitely.
Who has been, since you started, has there been an actor that you were the most excited or intimidated to work with?
Excited? I'd love to work with Julie Walters. For sure. Intimidated by? I don't know.
That you have worked with that you were like, oh, it's going to be a hard day on set today, and then they were great, or you were...
No, do you know what? I worked with Michelle Fairley, and they always say, like, don't meet your idols.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah, and but she is just the most beautiful woman inside and out, on camera, off camera. You know, it's even like working with Sandra. It's so inspiring to work with people who are not only amazing what they do, but amazing to the crew, and you know the morale when they're on set. So yeah, Michelle Fairley was one that I was like, oh God, I don't know whether, you know, they say don't meet your elders, but yeah, she was wonderful. Yeah.
It's great to work with people who know that someone being good to everybody on the crew just makes for a pleasant working environment.
Yeah, well, it
makes for a
affects
better show.
Yeah, it affects the whole energy on a set. You know, if someone's, I don't know, playing up or isn't too concerned about the work, then it, you know, it throws everybody off. But no, it was such a fun job killing Eve. Yeah.
Let's get some questions from our audience. Who has a question?
I actually remember your earlier work with Stars when you did White Princess.
Yes, yeah.
I was wondering, was that like, what was the like kind of the difference like when you were working on something like that, like a period piece, as opposed to when you were doing Killing Eve? Yeah,
well, the enormity of the White Princess was that we had these huge sets. Also, the costumes were like, you'd get up 2 hours earlier each day to be put in these beautiful costumes. And actually, once I'd finished The White Princess, I was so hungry to do something modern and different. But The White Princess was the first, you know, part that I played that I just felt like on such a huge scale. And I do a lot more running around in this, and it's a bit less serious. Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's not a period piece, but it does take place in its own sort of world.
Yeah, and I think two different worlds. I think when you're with Villanelle, you feel like you're in one place, and then, you know, you go with Eve, and you feel like it's a totally different.
And then shouldn't the color scheme even kind of changes too? Now that I think of it, when you're with Villanelle, it's actually more colorful.
Yeah.
And when you're with Eve, it's a bit like kind of dark blue and drab. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Hello.
Hi.
You were saying that you really enjoyed playing this character, and this character is such a dark character. I wanted to know what was so enjoyable about playing a murderer.
I guess what I love about her is that she is so many things. She is strong. At times she's weak. She gets it wrong. She can be fragile. She's so complex. So, you know, approaching her, I couldn't figure her out. So therefore, it challenged me a bit more to try and understand who she was, which also terrified me a little bit. So I guess it was more the challenge that I enjoyed, rather than the brutal murders. But yeah, I think it was the challenge.
But I'm sure the murders were fun to choreograph.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said they weren't my favorite days on set. You know, they were so fun, and especially just getting a script through, and I'd be like, what is she going to do now? How is she going to do it? And you could never ever guess, you know, it was just always something so bizarre but brilliant. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next question, one more. Last one.
Hi.
Hi back there.
So when I was younger, I used to act as well, and I know the auditions used to absolutely terrify me. And I was wondering, do they terrify you still? And if they do, what do you do to kind of get over it?
Yes, they do. I don't think it ever gets any easier. I guess. I think it also depends on if you really want a part. Sometimes you have more of a nervous energy. What I've tried to do now is just to enjoy it. You know, don't think so much about, you know, because sometimes before you've even got a part, you can imagine yourself playing it and all the things that will happen. So I try and just think of it as another opportunity to do some acting and try and gain something from, you know, playing around in the room like I did with Sandra. I gained so much from that, but I think that was also because she relaxed me so much. You know, I felt like I could really trust her, and
it's impossible to act when you're not relaxed.
yeah, and as well, every audition you go to is completely different. You can go into a room and it could be quite welcoming, and then sometimes it's straight into the acting. So you've really got to be, you know, on the ball as to how it's going to be in the room. But yeah, it's hard, but I just say try and enjoy it, and it's so hard. But I also think nerves are a good thing. I think nerves, you can really play off your nerves. Like, a lot of things are self-tape now, which I hate, because if I go in a room and I'm nervous, I feel like I do a better job. So try and use them to your advantage, I think. But I'm with you. You're not the only one. I'm with you. Yeah.
Jodie, I love the show. Congratulations. It premieres April 8th on BBC America at 8 p.m.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Everybody give Jodie a round of applause. Killing
thank
Eve,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.